She left with they were just better at getting away with their bull. I'm Jake.
This is Kendra with Truist TV, and I'm back with another video. And I had to do this video. This is for educational purpose only. I'm using this to give commentary on what this man is saying. Let's
of
get into
grandmothers,
it.
y'all keep screaming, women back then were better. But let's be real. Men back then were just better at getting away with their bull. I'm Jacob Riante. I'm a dating coach. And ladies, it don't matter if the men don't get it. This message is for you. Let's go deeper. Y'all think women back in the day were happier? They weren't happier. They were just silenced. A lot of grandmothers weren't in love. They were in survival mode. They smiled through the pain, played their role, and died with secrets so dark they took them to the grave. Meanwhile, Grandpa got to live his life how he wanted. Cheat when he wanted, come home when he wanted, and still got called the head of the household. You ever ask yourself why so many old school marriages lasted 40 to 50 years, but grandma never looked happy? Y'all think that's because marriage was better back then? Nah, it's because back then leaving a man wasn't an option. Women didn't stay because they wanted to. They stayed because they were trapped. Couldn't open a bank account, couldn't buy a credit card, couldn't get a house, couldn't leave without being blackballed by the church, family, or society. And let's talk about these so-called good men y'all love to bring up. The ones who took care of the household. The ones who paid the bills. You mean the same men who had entire secret families, the same men who left their wives at home while they ran the street, the same men who made sure their name was on every single asset. So if she left with nothing. That's what y'all want a woman to go back to? Y'all keep screaming about modern women who don't submit like that's the problem. No, the real issue is that modern women finally have the power to say no. And that scares y'all to death. Y'all don't want wives. Y'all want hostages. Y'all don't want love. Y'all want an audience. Y'all don't want partners. Y'all want prisoners. That's why y'all are panicking now. That's why y'all crying on the internet every day about how women don't need men anymore. Nah, it ain't that women don't need men. It's that they don't need to suffer just to have one. And that's the part y'all can't handle. So let's call it what it really is. Y'all don't miss traditional women. You miss unchecked male privilege. You miss a time when a man could cheat, lie, and abandon their family with zero consequences. You miss where women were forced to stay, no matter how bad it got. That's why y'all work overtime to convince women that the past was better. Because y'all know that if grandma had the rights and the resources that women have today, she would have left grandpa's butt too. Before you run to the comments saying women today don't want to be wives, ask yourself, would you want your mother and grandmother to go through the exact same marriage she had all over again? Would you want your sister to stay with a man who cheats, lies, and disrespects her because she has no other choice? Exactly. Now shut up and sit with that. And ladies, don't let these men trick you into settling for struggle. Because they know dang well if grandma had the freedom you have today, she wouldn't have put up with their bull either. No. And remember, ladies, accept nothing less than queen treatment. That's right. Listen to this man, y'all. Right, I know right now my grandmother, ooh, and it almost made me want to cry. My grandmother put up with hell with my mother's stepfather, raping my mother, mistreating my mother, and she sat in silence crying to herself daily. She didn't have anything of her own. She lived with his mother, who was horrible to my grandmother, and she put up with hell living with that man. My great-grandmother, her husband was a colorist who mistreated all her dark-skinned children. My great-grandmother, Essie, was a silent, quiet woman who sat back with 16 children. 2 of them died. That woman, my mother said, never cussed. She sat to herself and even raised her grandbabies. She dealt with hell with their grandfather. And they put up with it because they didn't have the ability to fight back. I'm not settling for no nigga. If I gotta be single, so be it. You niggas don't be worth it. That's what y'all don't get. Y'all think somebody this. Nah, y'all put people through too much. Ain't nobody gonna take no beating from you. Go home to your mama. You are mad because we get to say no now. Go to white women. I don't care. Let them, then treat them like that. But I refuse to have somebody mistreat me. Be with you just cuz. No. You ain't worth that much. Like I be miserable with you. The nerve. He ain't everything was Bible truth. You mad because we don't want to deal with that no more. No. Be men. Get out your feelings.
Start being logical again and work. Don't nobody need to live with you and take no beating. Who you? Don't nobody want a cheating man, two-timing loser who walk around all day arrogant thinking he could do whatever he wants. Nobody wants that. A good man stays and makes an inheritance for his children. He's peaceable, loving. You want women of old, then you got to be better men. We can't be those women. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be my mother. I'm not going to be my grandmother. And I'm not going to be my great-grandmother. I'm not going to be any of the women in my family. I refuse. They all were married. And guess what? They were treated like garbage. They endured suffering that nobody should have to endure. He ain't never lied. They went to their graves with secrets. My grandmother, if you see a picture of my grandmother, she looked insane before she died. You could tell by the eyes when somebody's soul empty. Y'all don't know what y'all trying to put women through so much to be with you, you knucklehead. Who would want somebody sitting around and miserable? Coochie feel the same, either it's wet or dry, loose or tight. That goes the same with buttholes. People suffering to be with y'all men. And you selfish because you would have it no other way. This ain't no man's world, it's God's world. He gave you a blueprint on how a man should work. This is Kendra with True TV. Like, share, and subscribe. Put God first above all else. Peace. Bye.